Okay, we're in section 12 of the notes. This is where we were solving nonlinear system of equations, right? So we had, maybe two equations, two unknowns in it. What do we typically do? We use the graphing technique. Along with that graphing technique, we used algebra to solve it. Again, you need to be able to do these things by hand. Now, some of the graphs might be difficult, but the bottom line is, let me just review that with you. If you go back to the beginning of the notes, I did talk about, this is definitely a nonlinear system. I'm seeing a red curve and a green curve, and there's points of intersection. And again, it's a good idea to have a visual understanding of how many points of intersection are just looking at it. Well, in that partial picture, I'm seeing 4 points of intersection. I can approximate those points. And we actually talked about that in the lecture. But the bottom line is you get, not difficult. This would be a very difficult question, by the way. We get simple questions. And what do we get? We had lines and a cubic, they intersect. We looked at a picture, 3 points of intersection, we solved it. My intent, though, is to go to the SAGE code and say these can also be done by SAGE, all right? So I'm not saying that you should do these problems by using SAGE. What you should do is you should do as we do in class and then say to yourself, well, what happens later on in life when things get more difficult and I can't do things by hand? I need to learn how to use a computer, and you do, right? So I'm going to reset, just type my code in. I'm going to say X and Y are variables. It's going to be a system of two unknowns, and the vars are going to be X and Y. I'm defining my variable. And then I want to solve this. We'll go back over the notes. I want to point out where this is in the notes. All right, let's go back over the notes. And again, we're learning. This is sort of like what we do with the linear system, but now these are at least one of the equations is non-linear. And I'm looking for xy minus 2 equals 0. Right here. I'm seeing it. xy minus 2 equals 0. And I see 3x minus 2y equals minus 4. And if you were to solve this system, you would find 2 points of intersection. What the points would be? 2/3, 3. I'm seeing that right here. What's the other point of intersection I would see? Minus 2, minus 1. I'm seeing that there. All right. So SAGE can do it. And this is nice. This is good news for me. Here's the deal, though. You still have to do this by hand. In other words, you have to graph it. What does it say? Graph it and use algebra. Sure to do that. All right. You should be able to do that. All right. I really mean that. You should be able to do that. All right. That's about it. There's not much else to say about that section. Most of that problems are done by hand. All right. Thank you.